Hey there, how are you guys? Let's do a video on what to know before investing in a vacation rental. Yeah, is now a good time to do it? Is it still possible to do it? Why should I do it? Am I gonna make any money from it? Most importantly, right? Remember to like and share our channel. Make sure you're liking. If you like the videos you're seeing, be sure to like our channel and click on the little notification bell so you'll know each time we have a video up. So let's get into this. All right, so vacation rental. A lot of people want to go into vacation rental. A vacation rental home is different from a second home, even though you could use your second home as a vacation rental property. In some states, you could do this as long as you live 6 months out of the year in that particular home. Some states or some areas, you can't do it. So let's talk about vacation renting. First, if I'm thinking of a vacation rental property, the first thing I'm going to think about is what's the best area. Maybe the area I'm in is not necessarily the best area for vacation rental. Maybe that area is saturated, like Central Florida is, right? So maybe I want to go in an area where it's not that saturated. Maybe I want to find maybe a cabin or a lodge somewhere that nobody goes to. What we do find out though, seriously, in 2025, we realize that people are looking more for experiences. So if you're thinking about doing a vacation rental property, think about the area that's going to give them an experience. Or make sure you have unique stuff on the property that you're looking to rent, like maybe a cold plunge tub or something adventurous, like maybe a tree house. Or there are people that actually rent land, and people rent that go and they put their tent up and they live there. Maybe these small homes, people are renting small homes as vacation rentals as well. So there's a lot of people looking for unique experiences. So what I would say is, if you're going to be in the market for what to know about investing in a vacation rental, what unique experience can I give to this person? And what areas do I want to have this property in? Do I want to have it near me so I could keep control? Do I want to have it somewhere else where I could get a property manager? So location is going to be key. What's going to give me the best potential? The income potential is going to be very important, because why do it? It's a business. So why am I going to do it if I'm not going to be making money? I just don't want to do it to break even. Maybe I do. Maybe it's a second home, and maybe I just want to have it help me cover the mortgage and taxes on it. And so I could rent it out when I'm not there. And as long as I'm there for 6 months, it's fine. So maybe I'm doing that. So based upon where your income is, you'll decide what your location will be. A lot of people do a vacation rental property in the area they vacation in. So maybe they like Destin, or maybe Miami, or maybe Orlando, or maybe Belize or Aruba, wherever it is. And they're like, I'm going to buy a vacation home here because I want a vacation here too. So I could vacation here when I want to, or when I don't want to, I could probably do vacation rentals. So that's important. So number one thing is going to be your location and the income potential, right? 2 in 1. Location, income potential. The next thing is, how am I going to finance this property? I found the property. What are the financing possibility? The DSCR loan is a loan product that people use a lot to finance vacation rental properties, because they go by your credit score, but you don't have to prove income. What they go by is what the potential property would rent for. The only issue I have with a DSCR loan is short-term rental tend to pay you more than long-term rental. But with most DSCR loan, they're going to take what is the income potential on long-term renting. So let's pretend you're going to buy a home, a vacation rental property, and let's pretend the regular rental in that market is $2,000 per month if you had a long-term tenant in there. But if you do short-term rental, you could maybe make $4,000 a month. On the DSCR loan, they're going to go by the $2,000, not the $4,000, unless the property was already rented by the previous owner, and the previous owner has the exact Airbnb, Booking.com, Vrbo, whatever platform they were on, they have the exact platform that this income is coming from. That's the only way a DSCR loan will take that as income.
This program is brought to you by Gift Group Sells Homes. Need to buy or sell fast? Make one call, that's all. and put our 23 years of experience to work for you. Gift Group Sells Homes is the way to go. Call for 07-791-4713.
Other than that, they're going to use the long-term potential. So when the appraiser goes out there to appraise a property, they're going to do an appraisal on rental, and that's what they're going to use. So that would then say you're going to need to put between 20 to 30% down based upon the long-term rental potential. Because the way the DSCR loan works is the bank is going to give you a mortgage based upon the income you could make from that property. So let's pretend you're going to make $2,000 per month on a long-term tenant. Then the mortgage, taxes, and insurance cannot be over $2,000. If it's at $2,000, then that means your monthly income from your property is covering your monthly debt. So they'll give you that. Okay, so that's super important. So that's what the DSCR loan does. So if you're going to be buying a vacation rental property, you want to make sure you have 20 to 30% down, and DSCR may be the better way to go. Only because you don't have to prove income, and they're not going to look for your debt to income ratio. You're going to need to have a credit score of at least 640 though, for the most part. And based upon what the long-term rental income comes to, then that will determine how much down payment you need to come up with. Another thing you need to consider is the restriction. Is there any restrictions in the area that you're going into? If you're buying into a HOA, big, you need to know, quotation mark, what are the restrictions on that HOA, and bear in mind the HOA can change. This happens rarely, but the HOA can change their rental stuff. They can. More than likely, they probably won't, but you need to find out in advance, is there any restriction with this particular HOA if you're buying the HOA? If you're not buying it in a HOA, is there any restrictions in the municipality that you're buying that property in? And is it subject to change? Are they coming up with any new rules or any new laws that's going to prevent you from doing short-term rental or vacation rental in that area? That's super important, because if you can't do it, you can't do it. Doesn't matter. Don't even try to sneak it, because somebody will find out and report you, and then you're going to be fined. So it's very, very important for you to find, is there any restrictions? And if there's no restrictions, is there any restrictions coming down the pipeline? There's some HOA that will allow you to do short-term rental, but you got to rent at least for 30 months. For 30 days, for 30 months, for 30 days. So the shortest you could rent to somebody is 30 days. So that means you could not have a guest renting for 2 weeks. And you could, but then you couldn't rent to anybody else for the other 2 weeks. So the 30 days has to expire before you could rent again. There's other HOA developments that will say you can't rent for anything over 30 days. So they want short-term renting. You could rent for a day, 2 days, a week, but you cannot rent for more than 30 days in this particular association. The more restrictive it is, the more you probably don't want to do it. What you want to look for is something that allows you to do short-term or long-term renting at your will, which means you could rent something out for a day or 2 days or a week or 2 weeks or a month or a year or 5 years. That's the best of both worlds. So if the short-term thing wasn't working out, you could flip to long-term renting. In this association I'm talking about that only allow you to rent up to 30 days, nobody could live in that property, including the homeowner, for over 30 days. So these are things you really have to pay attention to, because if you do not, you could find yourself in a crunch. So restrictions are big. There's different restrictions are coming out every day on short-term rental properties. So it's really important that you do some serious homework into the area that you're going to purchase in. If there's any restrictions, and if there is none, is there anything, coming up short-term, in the short-term future, that is already being discussed on the municipal boards or at the county level or at the HOA level, whatever it is, you need to know about that. The next thing is you need to know that if you have a vacation rental property, you're going to need to pay vacation rental taxes if it's in the US. Now, there are some countries like, I believe you don't have to pay vacation rental taxes. I could be wrong. And there's other countries, I think Bahamas, you don't have to pay vacation rental taxes. But if you're in the US, you more than likely will need to pay vacation rental taxes. So you have to keep that as part of your expenses. So for an example, if you know, okay, for this particular home, the income potential is $4,000 per month. My mortgage is $2,000. I have $2,000 left. What else do I have to pay? You're going to have to pay the vacation rental taxes unless the guest is paying that. So on some platforms like Airbnb will collect the vacation taxes for you and pay it for you. Vrbo has two choices. They may or may not do it. Booking.com, you got to pay your own taxes. If you book direct, like if somebody came and say, hey, I want to book your home for 2 months, then you're going to have to pay vacation taxes. And the rule in Florida is if you're renting for 6 months or less, then the vacation taxes are due. If you're renting over 6 months, then it becomes long term. Now, every area is different, guys. So I don't like to give a broad spectrum. I just always like to say, find out how that works. What some areas, 3 months or less is considered short term, 3 months or more is considered long term. So based upon the area you're in, don't just assume because you live in an area and a certain amount of time is considered short term and you're going to go to another area, it may be different because each municipality is different. But those are some of the stuff that you need to know before investing in a vacation rental. You also want to know if you're buying a home, who your neighbors are. Are they doing vacation rental? Because neighbors sometimes could kill your business. Maybe you have a home and it's not in an HOA, but you have a crazy neighbor that have some dogs. And every time your people come, the dogs rush at them, right? That's something to consider. Or maybe you have very picky neighbors and every time people come to rent your property, the neighbors complain that your renters are making too much noise and they can't sleep and da-da-da-da. So you have to be careful how close your rental is to other people's rental, and is the area rental friendly, right? Because it may be no HOA, just a regular neighborhood street, but the homes are close together, and the neighbors, maybe they're jealous or not, I don't know, they might give you a hard time. So that's very important. And again, I can't stress enough restrictions. Make sure there's no restrictions in short-term renting. Make sure you have income potential. Make sure you have a plan B. So if plan A is we're going to do short-term rental, that don't work. You know what? We'll just rent out to a long-term tenant. You got to make sure that you have flexibility. Don't buy in an area that's going to restrict you too much. The more restrictive the area is, the less money you're going to earn. Because if they restrict too many things, then you won't have any flexibility. Because maybe you might rent to somebody that wants to stay 6 months at one point. Maybe you may rent to somebody that wants to do 3 months at one point. You always want to have that kind of flexibility when you rent or when you invest in vacation rental. So I hope this helps. Leave your comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video, or if you have any questions that we could answer as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.
This program is brought to you by Gift Group Sells Homes. Need to buy or sell fast? Make one call, that's all. And put our 23 years of experience to work for you. Gift Group Sells Homes is the way to go. Call for 07 791 4713.